That is just from a worker who is an artist, royal artist, Chrissie Maria. They are a threat, a different, coming by, writing. That I know very well.
How did you become an artist?
Well, is it an artist selling art or artist just painting? I've started painting maybe 25 years ago. I worked with a group of ladies and we would all sit on the floor and paint. We would paint mandalas and we would paint pretty pictures and we would paint every week, and we just all really, really loved it. So we started to paint more on canvases and things. And then I didn't really paint anymore until I came to Australia. I really liked a local artist called Deb McNaughton, actually, and I couldn't afford any of her work. She was really well known in the area and I couldn't afford any of her work, so my husband said, why don't you paint something? And I said, I couldn't do that. And he said, well, why don't you try? So I did. I tried and I painted something for my house, and then I painted something else, and then I painted something else, and then a few of my friends asked me to paint things for them. So I painted for other people, and that was maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So I started painting 6 or 7 years ago.
If you could invite anyone to dinner, who would it be and why?
I would invite Lady Gaga for a few reasons. Firstly, because I think she's an amazing singer-songwriter, and I think she would be really good fun. But also because she has the same invisible illness as me. She has fibromyalgia, and she, over the last few years, has used her fame to influence people and talk about this a lot. And she also knows Bradley Cooper because she was on A Star Is Born with him, so I was hoping she would bring him as well.
What would you make?
I think I might get somebody to make something for me because I don't really cook very much. I do cook, but not fancy things. I think I would make my own desserts and probably a trifle. But I think the mains I would have to, have them brought in because it would need to be fancy because it's for Lady Gaga.
So, given yourself as an artist,
Yes.
have there been examples of you just going crazy with like a painting or something?
Most of the time, like pretty much all of the time, especially when I get a few more people involved. If I've had friends around and we've had a party, lots of times we will go into the art room and start throwing paint around a little bit, like literally throwing paint around.
Oh, is this an example of it?
Yes, I started this with a few people, and people just start with bottles and we throw paint around and things, but I do that myself as well sometimes.
Did anyone do it with a full bucket?
Not full buckets, but full great big litres of paint. So I've had people use a full litre of paint, and at the moment I have paint all over the floor in the garage and all over the ceiling and all over the walls, which is a little bit unfortunate because I'm just renting, so I'm thinking, might have to clean this up. But yes, most of the time I go a little bit crazy when I'm painting.
Sounds like an easy fix.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be an easy fix. I might have to get someone to clean it up, but anyway. At the moment I don't care, but I do go a little bit crazy sometimes, yes.
So this is just one example of art, but is it more than just painting crazy?
Yes, there's loads more examples of art. I think you can pretty much call anything art these days. And I particularly love working with ceramics. I'm not very good, but I do love it. And I know lots of artists who work with ceramics and are brilliant and sell their art for lots.
No, anyone with stone carving or?
Stone, yeah. And actually my dad he used to carve wood and stone. So he didn't call himself an artist, but I think he officially was an artist. In my art, I use mixed media sometimes. Sometimes I use old books and magazines and stick things on and paint over them and use different types of paints and acrylics and sometimes just crayons and pencils.
Ever thought about putting a toy in the middle of the painting and just...
I've thought about sticking, not toys, but I've thought about sticking ribbons and things and maybe gems, and I've taken lots of photos of that sort of art and I haven't got round to doing that yet. But I have thought about it and I have been collecting all different sorts of crafts and mixed media.
What is the best thing about the artist?
For me, I think the best thing about being an artist is seeing people enjoy my art and seeing people be surprised about what I've created. And the other really amazing thing is I donate lots of art to charity. So every 3 paintings I sell, I donate one to charity. And I've done that for the whole time, over 6 years. So in 6 years, I've donated about $15,000.
What did you do when you make the mistake?
Oh, that's a good one, because do you know what? In abstract art, there aren't any mistakes. And I think sometimes oh, I've made a mistake then, but that turns out to be the best art. And I can look at this and think there was mistakes on here, but then because it's abstract, nobody would know, or I blended in, or I sometimes have even painted over the whole thing and started again.
What is extra art means?
Abstract art, I think, is different for everyone. It's something that isn't specific. It's not a picture, or it's not a portrait. It's something that can be anything and anything or nothing. It's more about colour and shapes and imagination.
What were some of the choices that influenced you to move to Australia from the UK all those years ago?
We've actually been in Australia 20 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Next month. And never regretted moving to Australia. We moved here because we had 2 young boys and thought this would just be the best move for them. And it was. We really love it here. But we moved because, in the end, it was because of my husband's job. He's an engineer, so he got an engineering job in Melbourne, and we moved to Melbourne for that.
Was Australia's education system 20 years ago, did you see it as being better than the UK's education system for your sons?
I was actually a little bit worried about the education system because I was a teacher in the UK, and I was very happy with the education system in the UK. So I didn't know how it would be here. I was very happy with the education system in the UK, but when we got to Australia, I did find that the education system here was much better for my boys. There were smaller class sizes, and they weren't very academic. It was all about league tables, and it was all really pushy in the UK. Where here, I felt like the teachers cared more about the children's well-being. So I was very happy with the education system when we moved.
This piece of artwork here, Chrissie, how would you rate yourself as an artist?
That's a really difficult question, Lockie, because I feel like art isn't a competition. So I don't feel like I can rate myself, but I am very proud of the art that I create.
What is this painting? It represents.
What is it? This painting's actually called Filthy Gorgeous.
What inspired you to name it that?
The inspiration actually came from a shop in Bali. I was in a taxi with Bernie and Cindy in Bali, and we drove past a store and it was called Filthy Gorgeous, and I thought that would be a brilliant name for a piece of art. So that the name became first. The name was the inspiration behind the painting.
What is the most expensive painting?
I sold for $3,000, and it was at my solo exhibition, but it was auctioned off by my son for charity.
You have a favourite piece of artwork?
Claude Monet. It's really, really, really old, and it's called Water Lilies. He's a French artist, but it's very, very old. But it's my favourite piece of art. We covered it a little bit last time. It was this painting. The name of this painting was Filthy Gorgeous, and that was because I spotted a shop which was called Filthy Gorgeous. I was inspired to paint this, and normally the name comes afterwards, so that was actually the strangest. This was the strangest way for me to paint. It was the strangest inspiration. It was a shop. It was a jewellery shop. It was a cute shop, but it was a shop in Bali. Sometimes people struggle to put things into words, but using art helps them get it out, I think. Helps them get it onto the canvas. It helps with when words don't help. Sometimes you can't get the words out. Sometimes we can't get the words out.
What's your favourite colour?
Oh, can you guess?
Pink.
Yay! favourite colour. It makes me happy, and I just think it's very flowery and warm, and it makes me smile.
My favourite Disney movies.
Oh, that's easy, Claire.
Yeah.
My favourite, I'm going to go old school because I'm an old chuck.
Okay.
Yeah. My favourite Disney movie is Cinderella.
That's my favourite
Yes,
too.
I love Cinderella. And I can remember watching Cinderella when I was a little girl, and I thought her castle was the most magical place on the whole wide world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favourite football team?
Well, my favourite football team's not doing very well, unfortunately. My favourite football team is St Kilda.
Your inspiration for your artwork, which I must admit is pretty awesome, and thank you for bringing it in today.
Thank you.
Where did that come from?
I love colour, obviously, and nature, and I love the weather, and I love all things magical. But I think, honestly, my inspiration comes from imagination rather than inspiration. I think I have a very vivid imagination.
Your inspiration for your artwork, abstract art, comes a lot from the mind. How long does it take you from a concept to actually just doing it?
Often, I stand in front of the easel and I have a completely clear mind and I don't have any idea about what I'm going to do. But there's a funny story behind that. One day I was on the phone to a friend and I see, this is a bit weird, but I see people as colours.
Yeah,
I see colours around people.
Yeah.
And one of my friends, I see her as green. When I went into the art room, I was planning on painting with orange and pink. I was on the phone to her for an hour and I started painting, and while I was painting, I didn't think about it. It just happens. I don't think about it. I sat down after an hour painting and I was like, whoa, it was all different colour greens. And it really freaked me out a little bit because I didn't expect that to happen. And I rang her back and said, please don't speak to me when I'm painting because now this painting is you. It's your colour. So really weird. Yeah.
That's weird but cool.
Weird, but yeah, it is a bit weird. But things change sometimes in an instant.
You've been in art for a while now. What's been your most significant moment?
My most significant time as an artist, I guess, was when I had a solo exhibition. I was sort of talked into it by a friend who knew a gallery owner, and I agreed to have a solo exhibition. I didn't realise how big a deal it was going to be. And the gallery was huge. It's probably about as big as this room. And I needed 45 paintings for that. It was really scary. Once I'd signed up on the dotted line, I was then really panicked about how much I had to do, and it cost a lot of money. So it was a big deal, but I ended up selling enough to cover and enough to make some money, and it was a huge turning point, I think, in my art.
Who do you follow in the EPL?
Which is the UK League, I guess.
UK, yes.
Leeds.
Leeds?
Leeds, which is a little bit dodgy as well because I think they're a bit of a weird team to follow, but we lived sort of in that area, and it's northeast England.
As I praise Chrissie, thank you for some time.